In this video, I'll go through the top 5 things that you should be working on when starting a pest control company in 2025. What I don't want you guys to do, which I know is super important, is get stuck on regulatory things such as getting your licenses and things like that. Yes, it takes time. Yes, you have to go do it, but just don't get stuck there. It's pretty easy to look up the Department of Ag and start doing some research and go and get your license. Yes, every state is different. There's some nuances there, but don't get stuck there. There's never gonna be a perfect time ever. The biggest thing is just to start now, start today. However, there is some nuance there, like you're gonna go start a pest control company in a cold market and it's October, November. Maybe that's such a great idea. If you're in a warmer market, maybe it's not such a bad idea. So just keep that in mind. But I'm gonna go through the top 5 things that you need to do to start a pest control company in 2025. So number 1 is marketing. You have to get really good at marketing now. Don't wait until later on, but this is the number 1 skill that you need to learn as a business owner, in my opinion, especially first starting out. So even up to $0 to $1 million, no one knows who you are, especially if you're in a metropolitan area. You could be 15, big metroplex, you could be $15, $20 million and still not a lot of people know who you are. You might have just a small share of the market. So you have to get good at marketing now. You're gonna have to do a lot of testing early on. You're probably thinking, well, I don't have a big budget. And so this is why I wanna go through a few things that you can do without a big budget, maybe $500 to $1,000 that you can borrow, figure out a way how to get $1,000. First thing you can do, which is free, is door knocking. So this is how I started both my companies. Early on in the lawn care, I was just knocking in neighborhoods. I was getting, probably underpriced, but as a young kid, people were just signing up because I was pushing a lawnmower, cutting grass. Relatively inexpensive, but it still worked. And then when I started the second company, obviously a little more skills to this point in my career, but pest control, lawn care, it's still the same thing. It's a great way to generate leads and generate sales is by knocking doors, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything but time. So number 1, again, it's free, is knocking doors. Next thing you can do is, go buy some postcards and go buy some door hangers. If you have $1,000, maybe go spend a couple $100 on each. And like Alex Ramosi says, the law of 100, you can pass out 100 postcards, put them in door slots. You can go hang 100 door hangers a day. You can knock on 100 doors. Eventually, you're going to get good at these things the more and more you do it. So pass out door hangers, pass out postcards. Again, pretty inexpensive. Maybe you already have some jobs and you're going to start there working in those neighborhoods. And then from there, obviously, you have free tools like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. It's all great sources to get leads. You can go through your contact list in your phone, all your friends, family members, and ask them who's in their pest control, lawn care, things like that. So that's the next place you start. But again, pick up your iPhone. It's free. Start creating content, whether it's taking still pictures with some captions. You create some short videos. Go get yourself a tripod. Make some videos yourself. Hire a friend, hire a family member, hire a kid, maybe your niece, nephew, whatever. Have them hold the phone for you. These kids are, pretty good at phones these days, even at a young age of 6 years old, like my daughters. But have them hold the camera and then go start posting them on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. You can even edit your videos inside TikTok these days. It's all free. It's easy way to generate a lot of free leads. Also, just you have to remember to be shareable. You have to have your content fun and engaging. Be crazy, be goofy, have fun with it. Do the trends that are working right now, add the music that are working right now. You want it to be shareable. And then as you get customers, just always make sure you're asking for referrals. From there, again, we're still talking about marketing. These are all things that you can do for free. You have to start getting really good at marketing and getting really good at offers and testing what works and it doesn't work. You might have a door hanger that does really well on one street, and then you have another door hanger that does terrible on another street. Try flipping those around. Just keep testing different door hangers and postcards, things like that. Here's a couple of books that I know they're in no order that you can get really good at information there. First one is $100 Million Leads by Alex Ramosi. Very great book. Tons of valuable information there, how to generate leads. Next is $100 Million Offers. Another really, really great book on how to generate offers, like on the door hangers that we just talked about. Next one is Jab, Jab, Right Hook, Gary Vee on social media. It's another fantastic book. A lot of great information in there. This is an older book, but it's still very, very relative. Older book here, Guerrilla Marketing by Jay Conrad. Lots of good information in there. I love this book. There's lots of guerrilla style marketing topics to go through in there. Anything by Dan Kennedy is really good. So these next two are Dan Kennedy. He's the OG, Magnetic Marketing. Great book. Lots of stuff in there. And then No BS Direct Marketing. Again, another one by Dan S. Kennedy. The book that I couldn't find that I really, really liked was The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. I know that I have that book. I just can't find it. But all good books that you can learn a lot of marketing in sales from. So that's number one, marketing. Get really good at marketing. Two, this is more of a mindset than anything. Is just you have to get out of the truck as fast as possible. Your number one job is marketing, and I will add a second part to this number two. Maybe number two should be sales, but start getting really good at sales. So earlier on in my career, I wasn't great at sales. Not saying that I'm the best. I'm still evolving at sales, but it's a skill that I had to learn. And then once I started figuring out how to do sales, I started getting really good at marketing. And then once I figured out the sales side of it, it's like, oh, well, I created lots of leads. Now I just went from, 20% close rate, 30% close rate, all the way up to 50, 60, 70% close rate just by getting really good at sales. But your number one job just to think about as a mindset is to get out of the truck as fast as possible. I have a whole nother video series on just how to get out of the truck and what revenue you should be at. So just more of a mindset, get out of the truck as fast as possible, and continue to be a marketing machine and sales machine. Next thing, that'll be number three, is like finance, but know your numbers. Again, this is something that you're not going to happen overnight. I'm not saying that this is your number one job. It's just something that you have to learn to understand. You got to know how to read a P&L. You have to know how to read an income statement. Maybe even just know the benchmarks in the industry. Probably a good place to start. And then obviously you're going to hire a CPA, an accountant, things like that to help you with these, but it's not something that you should be doing. Maybe you have a finance background. I'm not saying that you don't know these stuff. I'm not saying that. Just something that maybe if you're newer in business, the numbers that you should watch for. So benchmarks that you should obviously know would be like your COGS percentage, maybe your overhead, direct labor, indirect labor. Obviously profit's a big one, how to calculate profit. Maybe even a line of credit. Should you have a line of credit? Do you need a line of credit? How do you use a line of credit? And then maybe how to manage debt. Do you need debt? Do you take on debt? Maybe some interest rates, but all the things that you should be thinking about. And again, it's something I had to learn, and I'm still constantly learning and trying to get better at this stuff every single day. Again, I have accountants that work for me. I have big firms that work for me. I have a full-time CFO that he teaches me a lot of stuff, but you have to start learning how to read income statement, P&Ls, things like that, so you can track all your numbers. Another good one on the top of my head I just thought about is break even, your break even point. It's like to know how much you're making on each job, just to break even, and then add your profit from there. So just some numbers at the top of my head that I think about that you're going to need to know going forward. Number four would be software. You have to have software. Even going back to like early days when I first started in business, like I was on Google Sheets, I totally get it. But you guys have no idea. I literally talked to hundreds of companies, maybe not in a week, but in a couple of weeks. And I know a lot of people in the industry that they run big companies and they have no software. They're still on Google Sheets. They're like, I've seen the craziest things where they have like note cards in these baskets and they have like pins up on maps. Like it's the craziest thing ever. Yes, it works and I understand it, but they're losing so much time and energy like by doing all this stuff, and then trying to extrapolate any data at all is damn near impossible. So make sure you have a good CRM. One that can do your routing, your sales, your marketing, your finance. You can tie it back to QuickBooks so you can get a job costing analysis. You can get all the reports that you need whenever you want them. Just off the top of my head, there's some good ones. Obviously I'm going to say Gorilla Desk is going to be up there. Field Routes it's going to be up there. Lawn Care, maybe it's going to be Service Autopilot, or again, off the top of my head, there's some good softwares. Make sure that your software is scalable. Again, it is so hard to switch softwares, and it's a nightmare. It's a pain in the ass. I've done it 3 times, and it's not fun. So just going back through the early lessons of my career is just make sure you find one that's scalable and it's in the industry that you want. If you buy the cheap one, you're going to get cheap results. You're going to have to build a lot of the shit your own. It's just not fun. Build one, find one, pay a little bit more. That's scalable with the companies, like the bottom line. But software is super important. It's a must-have. Everyone would be like, "Oh, well, it's $500 a month." Okay, well, so is how much time do you have invested in these Google Sheets and trying to build out all these things in the back of other softwares that doesn't do it for you? It's a pain in the butt. And yes, every software is going to have its quirks and kinks. It's not gonna be perfect for you ever, but you'll just find one and you'll make it work. The fifth one that you guys should be focused on is building a team. This ties back to what I talked about, getting on the truck as fast as possible. I have another video that, your first hire that you should hire, which is a CSR, because she can start answering those phone calls. Because I see it so many times, and I'll talk to someone like they want to grow, but then I'll say, well, how many calls do you get a day? Like, well, I'm getting 4 to 5, 6 calls a day. But I'm, up in an attic, or I'm servicing a house, or I'm in the basement doing a foundation exclusion or whatever, and I can't answer my phone, and I miss phone calls, and I'm missing like 4 to 5 calls a day, and that's roughly, $2,400 in revenue, just off the top of my head. So hire a CSR first, have them start managing your calls and managing your route, and get super efficient, buys back your time. Let's just say you're spending 20 hours in the field, and 20 hours, or let's say 40 hours in the field, 20 hours answering phones. Now you can take the same 20 hours, put that back into servicing, and start doing the revenue generating income that can start scaling the company. Then you're going to hire technicians, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time with both of these, with all your new hires, but you need to do a lot of training. You have to start building some SOPs. There's a lot of cool software out there, Trainual, things like that will help you build SOPs. You have to spend a lot of time with them, a lot of training. Maybe you need to do a lot of videos these days, teaching them how to do the service, how to talk to customers. But this is, again, it's an ever evolving skill. No matter where you're at in business, you're always going to have to be building teams. Even at the executive level, you have to learn how to interview executives. But even early on, you have to learn how to hire technicians, you have to learn CSRs, salespeople, things like that. Eventually, some of these things will get off your plate. But right now, you have to focus on building the team. It's always be one of your number one jobs is building a team as a CEO. So those are the top 5 things that you need to be focused on when building a pest control company in 2025. Again, don't get stuck. There's never gonna be a right time. I have a friend who, he very, very impatient now, but he sat there for a year. And if you're watching this, I love you, buddy, but just get started. You'll figure all this stuff out as you go. But he waited, 8 months, 12 months, or a year. And then now he's finally launching his business. And now he wants to go faster and faster and faster. But this whole time he could have been also, servicing jobs, getting new leads while he's figuring the rest of the stuff out. So those are the top 5 things that I would focus on if I was building a company in 2025. Hope that was super helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.